Welcome to another Pixel Game Maker tutorial. Today's the runtime action we're going to go over is the execute object action runtime. And what this runtime is offering is for you to jump to another action within your action programs without a transition link. So we can see in this example I have in this object is we have a first state. When I hit A with this transition link, I will jump to this state, execute action, and this is where the runtime will be in. And then when that is ran, it will jump to one of these that we select, either the turn blue, turn red, or turn green. And notice that none of them have a transition link to them. So let's go ahead and dive in and get started. Let's look at the options provided in this runtime action. The first one is to select the object. So which object do you want this execute object action runtime to affect? And if we pull down the drop-down menu, you'll see we get a couple options. We can choose from the object itself, or we can choose from a specific object. Now, do note that you don't have access to parent object or lock object in this case. If we were to select self object, we come over here to this other drop-down menu, we are provided with a single option, and it's just by default. If we were to select a specific object, say the same object just as its actual name on the list, then we would be able to click and provide an all as well. So we could affect all objects that are this type. And there will be even more options when we click on changeable even after placement on scene. You can actually select the individual instance of the object. So I'm going to just select single for this case, and we'll move on to the next option, which is to select the action. Here is where we will select which action this object will jump to. If we pull down the drop-down menu, you'll see a list of every action that we currently have in our action program's flowchart. And if you remember, this object is going to execute action to one of these three states, either turn blue, turn red, or turn green. So let's select turn red to start. And if I hit OK and hit play test, we'll see that when I press A, the object turns red. It jumped to the red state. If we were to change this to turn blue, hit OK and hit play test, you'll see that when I press A, it turns blue. One thing to go over real quick is that if you were to select the state that is calling this runtime, and in our case it's the execute action state, you would think that you could continually loop this state over and over, running whatever is in this state. And so let's see if it acts like that. Let's hit OK, and let's hit to change a variable, and let's add to the object self X scaling, and let's add 50 every time. So it's adding to the scale X, and then we're going to put the scale X above it, and we're going to hit playtest. So when I hit A, it's going to scale, and then we're calling the action state again, so it should continually loop. Well, when I hit A, it only ends up scaling once and then doesn't do again. So that's one thing to note, is that it actually does not loop. This will not call itself again and run the same thing over and over. And with that, I'm going to take off that, and now we're going to change this to not set, and I'm not going to set anything because now we're going to move over to changeable even after placement on scene. And with this button highlighted, we can go to the Scenes tab, and we can select our Execute Action Bot and copy paste a couple of these into here. And on this first one, I'm going to have it change itself. We'll have it change itself red. On this one, I'm going to select the action bot, and I want to change the last one that we placed. So I want to change number 2. And I want to change to set it to blue. And on this one, I want to just leave it. I don't want it to do anything, and that's how I want to specify it. So when we go to playtest, and when I hit A, we will see that this object turned itself to red, this object turned this one to blue, and then this one did nothing. So this one remained the same. And so that is how we can use execute object action and how we can use it specifically on a scene for each individual instance. And if there's any cool ways that you have used this or things that I missed about this runtime, please comment below and we'll make a history and get everyone in the know. And other than that, we will see you at the next video.